to listen to the Lap Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 286 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor, Brandon Crowd. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. And, well, we're still 14 winners now through 21 races. Can we get 3 more in 5? That is the question. So much to talk about tonight. We'll dive all into that in a little bit. Like I said, hope you all had a great weekend. Pretty low key for us over here. Had the golf league Thursday night. Pretty good. Shot my average. No complaints there. No crazy 41 like 2 weeks ago. Friday night, Lindsay did a little girls' night thing, so I had a couple buddies over that hung out with me in Alden, which was awesome. Did some running around Saturday, took Alden to a birthday party. He is just the life of the party at 5.5 months old. No one cares that we're walking through the door, but that Alden is walking through the door, which is pretty cool. Sunday, watched some racing and cooked some fajitas on the Blackstone, which seemed to be very popular on social media when I posted that. I know Mick Rose was cooking some fajitas as well, and saw a couple other posts, which is pretty cool. That's awesome. Congrats, huge congrats to our ticket winners, Jimmy Bay, 37, and Steph O'Keefe, 1. They each won a pair of tickets to MIS compliments of Firekeepers Casino. And I am so pumped to announce that I have a bonus pair of tickets still to give away. I've got one more pair, so be on the lookout on social media for that. That tweet will be out there. It is already out there if you're listening to this. And we'll give away one more pair. I cannot wait to get to MIS here in just a couple weeks. I'm going to have t-shirts. I'm going to have koozies. I'm going to have stickers. I may have some NBC prize packs with me to give away as well. I am hoping, I don't know if there will be an MIS tweet up or not. If there is, I will be there. But if not, we will do our own little lap traffic thing for anybody that's there. We'll do something Sunday before green flag for sure. So if you're coming to MIS, hit me up. Let me know. I will add you to the group, text, tweet, whatever we end up doing there, and get to say hi in person, talk some racing, and I'll give you some stuff. So that's what we got coming on. I'm still trying to figure out some stuff for MIS weekend. If you listened last week, you know that I will be at Firekeepers Casino on Friday, which will host a Joey Logano meet and greet from 5:30 to 7:30. That is free to anybody 21 and older. So if you're in the area, I mean, for me, I'm in Metro Detroit. I can get to Firekeepers in 2 hours, probably an hour 45, since Lindsay's not going to be in the car with me. It's not too bad. Come hang out. I will be there. And, of course, Joey Logano will be there, which is the draw, of course. But come hang out there and, get to the race. Get to the race if you can. All right. What's coming up tonight? Well, from Hattori Racing, Chase Purdy is going to be back. Talked to him earlier in the year and excited to have him back on and see, how his season is going. Just a crazy weekend at Pocono, DQing, all that good stuff. We'll get into that here after we talk to Chase. Social media shout outs. Neudorff is back. He will tell us about the Indy forecast. He's got a couple stories to tell since that's his home track as well. Lucky Dog, Lap Down Fantasy, all that good usual stuff there. So without further ado, let's get Chase Purdy back on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his second appearance on the show. He is the driver of the number 61 Bama Buggies Toyota with HRE, coming off a top 11 this week at Pocono. Welcome back to the show, Chase Purdy. Chase, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. Just hanging in there.
Yeah? Well, welcome back, man. Glad to have you back. Chase, we last talked right after the Bristol Dirt Race back in April. We got 10 more races behind us now, and 7 out of those 10 with top 15s. And season as a whole, you've got 10 top 15s through 16 races. What's your take so far on the regular season?
Started out rough down in Daytona. Had something happen that I have no control over. So that was really tough. I think we've hit our stride late. I think that our speed is there. Just need to be better about getting the right track position and putting ourselves in a good position to run better. I think we've like I said, come on strong late. So just gotta keep getting better every week and keep going forward.
Awesome, man. Yeah, for sure. Talk about this week. I mean, Pocono was just crazy. Start to finish, all 3 series. Started 15th, finished 11th. Talk about your race, the challenge of Pocono being such a unique track, and how your day for yourself, the team, and all that went this past weekend.
Yeah, so I obviously with practice and qualifying being rained out, that definitely sucked, but it wasn't too unusual. It was like COVID racing again. So, when what sucks about that is I didn't feel like we got our truck really good till the last stage. And we maybe should have done something a little different on strategy to get better track position at the end. But I thought we had a really fast, Toyota Tundra TRD Pro Bama Buggies truck. So we finished 11th, but man, I thought we were really definitely a truck that could contend well inside the top 10 if we could have gotten better track position or broke free and gotten to a little bit of clean air.
When we look at Pocono, Pocono's really kind of become, like you mentioned, strategy, to what we see at some of the road courses, to maybe where you're pitting with 3 to go in the stages. Is that something you guys maybe talked about? Or, what kind of strategy did you guys have going into into the race?
Well, we knew that if we were going to make the playoffs, we had to win. So we were backed into that corner.
Sure.
I think we had a fast enough truck to compete if we could have gotten up there. It also depended on kind of what lane you were in to restart back there. Inside versus outside. It really seemed like the outside line could get rolling better on the starts for at least the first lap or two. You could keep up your momentum if you were able to just roll the top on guys and you weren't getting side drafted or guys trying to split you. So I thought, lane choice was important. But it's so easy to say that now. Cause in the moment you're like, well, I can gain 2-3 spots here and hopefully get in line. So that's the gamble you take. But I thought that NASCAR did a really good job of making it, where there was multiple lanes. There was really 2-3 lanes you could kind of run, and one in one, and then the tunnel turn. You could make the top work if you were beside a guy. I thought this year the bumps were a little rougher than what I remembered and how it's been in years past. But overall, I thought as far as the racing aspect of it went, I thought NASCAR did a really good job with that, and it made for an exciting race, and it was fun. You could pass people easier. It was still really hard to pass there as usual, but it was not as bad as I've seen it in years past.
For sure. All right, what the shenanigans on Sunday, man. Your quick take on what all went down. Post-race inspection, all that. I had put a thing out to the listeners, and we're going to get to that a little later in the show, as far as, pre-race, post-race. Do you want them both? Do you want just one? Kind of crazy there. What's your fan reaction, if you will, to all of that?
I think Denny Hamlin, he might not have won the race technically, but he won on social media with the eagle and champagne and the tape. I thought that was pretty good. I don't know exactly if it was worth really DQing them 100, and taking the win away from 'em. I don't know exactly what, just how much of an advantage of what they found is, or how much it really makes a difference.
Yeah.
But that's NASCAR's rules, and clearly they broke them. So, and they just got caught. Everybody does things to, I guess, go into the gray area.
Sure.
You could say.
Yep.
So, they just happened to find it on the JGR cars this past weekend. It sucks. I really hated it for Denny and for Kyle. That sucks. I mean, I know it was a big weekend for their sponsors and everything. So
yeah,
I know that was heartbreaking.
I remember a few years back when Clint Boyer got caught for something and he pulled out a quarter at the media center and just was like, that's how much off we were, kind of thing. And like you said, you wonder sometimes, what really was the advantage there, but we'll never know. This weekend, though, man, heading to Lucas Oil for the Truck Series. First time. The trucks have been there in a long time. How are you getting ready for that one?
Just watching film and stuff. I ran there one time a few years ago when I was in an ARCA car, and we were really fast there. I had a chance to win it. I think it was me and Chandler throwing sliders back and forth when we were there, and then Christian ended up beating both of us. So that's a really cool racetrack. It's a really hard short track. People underestimate how hard of a place that is to get around. It's very abrasive on tires. It's got a really rough surface. So tires are going to be everything this weekend. And I think, especially if it's caution comes out with, I don't know, 10, 12 to go, what do you do? When do you, is it, if you're the leader, do you come down pit road or not? Or if you're 8th to 10th or some of those guys, do you come regardless? So I think it's going to make it it's going to make for a really good show. I'm excited to go back there. I love short track racing. Like many of us in the field, that's our roots. That's what we come from.
Sure.
But I'm glad I've been there before. So I know what I'm getting myself into, at least.
Would you compare that track surface, same, better, or worse than Atlanta pre-repave as far as that track surface?
Oh, I'd put it right there with it, with the old Atlanta surface. You got just a few laps and then you're done. So, and I think that's going to be a big key for the race this weekend. We don't go many places where you have to save tires. I don't think any place truly save tires. And I think that guys, if they can just fire off and get in line somewhere and just kind of manage their stuff, 15, 20 laps into a run, then, I think you'll be like, oh, well, maybe I should have saved my tires a little better or whatnot. And, and that might not happen, but I think that could be a factor this weekend. If that was going to happen anywhere, it would be here, certainly.
Sure. A lot of off weeks sprinkled out here between now and November for these last 7 races. You guys going to try to do anything a little different to work on something for down the road? You're not in the playoffs, unfortunately, going for broke. What's the strategy of the last 7 races here?
Oh, we got nothing to lose. So we're going to do whatever.
I love it.
Whatever we can or can do to win or put ourselves in position to. I have a chance to finish 11th in points, and I'm going to try my best to do that. But like I said, we have nothing to lose, so sure. We can take all the risk in the world, and if it works, you look like a hero. If it doesn't, you look like a zero. So we'll do whatever we can. And try and run the best we can these next few races.
Sure. You mentioned the short track. So I imagine outside of Lucas Oil this weekend, you can't wait to get back to Bristol. Ran the dirt race back in April. Are you excited to go get back on its normal surface here in a few weeks?
Oh yeah. Oh God, I am very ready to get back to the original Bristol. That is so much more fun to me than the dirt Bristol.
Oh, that's
I'm like
fantastic.
lost on the dirt surface in these cars. I mean, you can't drive them like they're dirt cars either, which I think also sucks. But no, I'm ready to go back to a normal Bristol Motor Speedway.
That's fantastic. All right, man. Hit the sponsor, man. They've been with you for a minute, I believe. So talk about your partnership with Bama Buggies.
Yeah, Bama Buggies has really kind of been there for the whole time. It's a dealership located in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Sells Sea-Doos and they do Polaris stuff and aftermarket stuff for all the cool things you want to. Yeah, for all the cool things you want to amp up and put on your side by side. So, yeah, they do a lot of cool things. People should check it out.
Awesome, man. Where can everybody keep up with you on social media, sir?
So my Instagram is Chase_Purdy. That's also the same for my TikTok, Twitter, ChasePurdy12.
Awesome. Are you active on the TikTok?
Yeah, actually, so I did something I don't ever do, which maybe I should because people liked it. But I did like a silly video where it showed which Top Gun character you were.
Okay.
And I got and they gave me Maverick, so I was pretty pumped. You know, he's a big he plays a pretty solidly big role in the movie. Right. So I was pumped about that. But yeah, I try and stay active on it. You know, my problem with that thing is I'll have something like I got some drafts that I think are pretty damn funny. But I'm like, I shouldn't post. That's so stupid.
That's what ends up going viral, man. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should, and I should just care a little less is what I should do. So
that's my thing. It's like I've got this down pat. Like, you know, you and I are looking at each other right now, but you know, I've mastered the podcast thing, or from an amateur perspective, anyways. Like, I've messed around with a couple of videos, and it's just like, man, I don't know. I've got that niche to go out there and just make a fool of myself to go and get the views.
Yeah, but man, that's the stuff that sells, right? I mean, people don't want to see, you know, your typical like, oh, car was good today or stuff like, you know what I mean? Right. They want to see you as a person and all the dumb stuff you do. I mean, there's some people in sport and some of my friends that are really good at it. Noah Gregson's really good at it. Hocevar is really good at it. So it's just like, I mean, but they're, you know, it works, yep. You know, and that's who they are as a person, and people love to see that. So, you know, I should definitely probably just start posting out all my drafts just all at once, right? To see what people think. You know, they're going to be like, what in the world? So,
random question, you know, when, you know, in today's age with how important social media is from an athlete's perspective, from a driver's perspective, you know, the finance side of things with sponsors and all that, would you say a more active social media, does that help attract sponsors? Does that deter sponsors? Because you never know, someone could go off and say something that the sponsors don't like, or, you know, does an individual account come into role from a sponsor perspective in the sport?
It definitely does. If you're a sponsor and you have someone that has, use me for example. I have about 14,000 followers almost on Instagram, and you see someone that has 1 million. I mean, if you're in business and you think, oh, well, more people would probably know or see my product with someone that has 1 million followers or whatever.
Yep.
Now people know that and they'll go out and they'll buy followers or whatever, but I don't do that because I just, you know, I think that's just hurting your brand and
sure,
you know, in general. But no, it definitely plays a big role, and that's not always the case. I mean, it also depends on who you are on there and the content you're showing and what you represent and believe in and you know, all kinds of other things. So there's a bunch of things that I think play a factor in all of that. But it is definitely important, and I think that in the last few years we've really seen just how powerful and moving social media can be with all the things you can do with it. and where it can take you.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for the chat. I really enjoyed it. I know the listeners will love it. I hope you have a great run this weekend at Lucas Oil, and best of luck the rest of the season, and look forward to talking with you soon, man.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks.
you having me on.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon, man. We'll see ya. All right, Live Traffic Nation, there you have Chase Purdy back on the show. Great to talk to him. Great insight there. Love talking to these guys. You guys know that. Anytime I can get someone from the Truck Series on, I am going to eat that up for sure. All right, well, let's keep things rolling. Let's dive deep into Pocono. All right, well, we've got the trucks from Pocono, and I am still baffled over the fact that this was the truck regular season finale. Like, it just, I can't wrap my brain around that aspect that it's July and the truck playoffs are starting this week and that there's only 7 races left. That's going to take us through November. Like, it just, the math, like, it just doesn't register in my head. But anyways, Chandler Smith going out there, picking up win number 2 on the season, which is great. You know, there were definitely some comers and goers here when you look at things. You know, Ryan Preece started 22nd, finished 2nd. You had Austin Hill started 31st, finished 6th. You had Tanner Gray, 18th, finished 15th. You had Chase Purdy, who you just heard from a few minutes ago, started 15th, finished 11th. Definitely some movers there, which is crazy. And most of your top 10 did not favor too well in Stage 2, obviously due to some strategy and all of that, which is probably what gave them the finishes that they have there. I think the craziest thing is here we are, regular season's over. John Hunter Nemechek, good from a points perspective, just did not have the dominant win season that I think we all expected him to have. You know, Zane Smith, 3 wins, Chandler Smith 2, John Hunter 1. You know, that's your bread and butter right there, right? Like, is that your favorites as far as your final 4? There is not as big of a playoff points gap here either, which I think is interesting. I think if we look at, you know, where John Hunter Nemechek was at last year in the Truck Series at this point, I think we had a lot more points, playoff points, and a lot bigger separation gap there, you know, as far as his advantage. I'm actually pulling it up right now as we speak. You know, John Hunter had 34 playoff points last year to Austin Hill and Ben Rhodes 11. So what are we talking there? 15, you know, 15 some points there difference. You know, Zane Smith to Chandler only a 10 point, you know, so I guess not as crazy. I guess I expected that to be a little bit bigger there, but still, I think it's anyone's game in the Truck Series. That can get to the Final 4 because there hasn't just been that dominance. Zane Smith has been the dominant one. So that'll be interesting to see. When we look at the playoff picture, Derek Kraus missing the playoffs, Tyler Ankrum, Chase Purdy. I'm really disappointed with Tyler Ankrum. Really was hoping that team would be able to put some things together and have a little bit more consistency this year than what they did. Great guy. Love talking to Tyler Ankrum and was really hoping to see him be able to make a push this season. But, hey, always next year, hopefully, right? Any surprises for me here? Not really, just based on who runs full time, you know, and we don't have that many. So would love if not AJ Allmendinger. I would love if Parker Kligerman was able to get a full-time ride, and because I think he'd be able to make some noise. I think he'd be contending for this championship, no doubt about it. But again, that's where we're at. Lucas Oil Raceway Friday night, a late start, 9 o'clock, which is pretty cool. Get the kids to bed and get your favorite beverage and settle in for the truck race Friday night. And like I said, it's nuts to me. 7 races through 15 weeks. I just can't believe that this thing will still end up and finish at the same time as the Cup and Xfinity guys. But there you have it. Got some off weeks coming up down the road for the Truck Series, which is a bummer. But hopefully the playoffs are interesting. I think they will, just because those at the top are stacked, obviously. And we'll see what happens. You know, we saw Ben Rhodes last year win Daytona and win at Phoenix to capture the championship, kind of stealing it. You know, he was that, fourth guy. It was, all right, who was going to get the fourth spot? He did and went out and won. Kind of surprising too. Like we saw Daniel Hemrick go out there and win the championship in the Xfinity Series. That was the only race he won and won the championship with that. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some surprises like that. Maybe it's Carson Hocevar that sneaks into the Final Four and goes out and makes some noise. You just don't know. So that'll be fun to watch for sure. Over to the Xfinity Series, Noah Gragson picking up win number 3 on the season. Which is cool. Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Dinger, usual suspects up there. What I love about this coming week is that we're going to be at the Indy Road Course. It's a wild card. You guys have heard me talk and go on rants here over the last couple weeks how I truly feel that our top 12 is our playoff grid in the Xfinity Series, with 7 races still to go, I think. 6 races still to go in the regular season for them, which I don't like. I don't like that there's no bubble, so to speak, unless somebody can go and get a win that's outside of the top 12 right now. So could Sheldon Creed go out there and get a win? Brandon Brown, we've seen him have some great moments this year. That's what's going to be fun to watch. The fact that it's a wild card race. Could someone go out there, play spoiler to these guys that are currently in the top 12? Kind of just like with the Truck Series, there's not a big playoff point differential to where you get that advantage, to where it's a guarantee. You can, finish top 15 and still slip past into the next round or anything like that if you've got a bad break. We've got Noah Gragson in 5th. Ty Gibbs has 23 playoff points. Gragson has 22. Allgaier 21. You just don't have that separation, which is awesome. That's just going to create that much more of an exciting and competitive playoff picture once we get there. But very excited for Indy Road Course this week for both Xfinity and Cup. Just from that pure aspect of alone, that it is a possible spoiler situation. Now, last year, we saw AJ Allmendinger go out there and get the win, which was cool because that was another Cup driver that got a win, but wasn't anything that impacted the playoffs because he's not running for the Cup championship. So I believe Dinger is running the Cup race as well. Very well could go and pull that same upset. Just doesn't have the same playoff implications that we would like to see from a driver that has not won a Cup race that is running for the Cup playoffs. That's the playoff implications that I would love to see this weekend, as you guys know. Now, what a crazy frickin' race. We saw Denny Hamlin pick up the win, followed by teammate Kyle Busch, and the big DQ on both of those guys, giving the win to Chase Elliott, who did not even lead a lap, which is just crazy. You talk about the post-race inspections and all of that, and I'm going to get into that here in just a minute because I put that out there to you guys. I wanted your takes because it was just such a unique circumstance. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. But, could you have imagined if Kevin Harvick was still in 3rd place, if that wreck doesn't happen, the massive change and the chaos that would have created, because that would have given us our 15th different winner. And then Kevin Harvick is probably in the playoffs. I mean, we look at things right now. You've got Chase Briscoe on the bubble, only 2 points ahead of Kurt Busch with a win. So if Kurt Busch, picks up some points and Chase falls out, we're possibly looking at 2 to 3 drivers with wins that are taking guys out with the win. Eric Almirola is not making the playoffs right now. Kevin Harvick is not making the playoffs right now. So these guys need a win. Ryan Blaney right now, the probably only safe guy, at the moment. But could you imagine if we have 17 winners and one of them is not Ryan Blaney? Ryan Blaney, third in points, won't make the playoffs. That is just absolutely crazy to me. I want to see that chaos. I want Blaney to get a win. I want Harvick to get a win, and I want Truex to get a win. Like, we need this to, and it can happen. Like, Truex can go out, kick ass at a road course, no problem. Blaney can kick ass at a road course. Kevin Harvick, has dominated Michigan in years past. Like, I mean, could you just imagine if all three of these guys pick up wins over the next 3 weeks? I got goosebumps just thinking about the implications and how much I will just love every single second about that. Because Lat Traffic Nation, hear me out on this one. Kurt Busch has a win, 17th in points, right? If all three of those guys, if Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr. gets wins, guess who doesn't make the play? Oh, no, Denny Hamlin would make the playoffs because he's got more than one race win, so that would give him that advantage. Oh, I almost got really excited and thought Denny Hamlin might miss the playoffs, but that's not possible unless he falls out of the top 30 in points, which I don't foresee that happening. But, I almost got really excited there. All right, before I get myself into trouble here, let's go to your guys' takes here. I put it out on Twitter asking you guys if you thought that should we get rid of the pre and post race inspection? Should we just have the post race? Should we just have the pre-race? What were your guys' take on this? I'll give you my take at the end here, but let's see what you guys had to say. J. Isaac Sr. at Isaac J63. Really, to be honest, post would be good enough. Danny at Danny LeBlanc 24, both. Andrew at Andrew Eckenrode, should be both. Things can be modified in quotes during the race. Pulling for Ross at InBarrett 52, absolutely both. Karen at NASCAR Casey fan, both is the way to go. Gina at Tech_Wench, pre and post 100%. Jason at JA Stone 29, both. Matt at Camper News Net. I believe there should be both pre and post race inspections, as the cars could be modified during the race, and that wouldn't be good for the sport. Scott at 1985 Wagner, system has worked like it should. Post race can be more invasive than pre. How mad would teams be if decals got pulled back and needed resecured before practice, etc.? Jane at Jane Waldrop, both should continue. If there's ever a time when NASCAR decides to just do one, then it should be post. Pre only affects your qualifying. Changes during the race affect your finish. That's what post should be catching. Keith at Keith HA 935789859er. I think the area of concern post race isn't done in pre-race because it would make a slow process even longer. Michael at Joe's, oh man, brother, I can never pronounce your last name. Juskiewicz. A lot of crap happens to the cars that the drivers or teams can't control. I think there should be pre-race inspections, yes, but a post, no body damage can cause the car to be too high or too low, not the team's fault. Are they supposed to quit when they get damaged? Good call there. I like that. And Robin at Wrangle22, agree to this in a sense to what Mike said, but in this case, it wasn't accident damage. Maybe they should just forego penalties that could be caused from accident damage, but when something has been added or wrong materials, then that's an intentional technical foul. And our friend Aaron at Race Weather, both, not just yes, but hell yes. I love it. Thanks, guys, for chiming in there. Some new people that we haven't heard from in a minute, which is awesome. My thing is, when you talk about how long of a day that, practice qualifying and all that can be, add the amount of time it takes to get every car through the inspection process pre and post, I'd be okay cutting pre. I think you have to have the post-race inspection, no doubt about it. But, like someone mentioned, the pre-race kind of helps keep qualifying under control. But, teams want to go throw all these curveballs, and then go make the changes back or something like that. I mean, hell, that could be fun. I don't know. I think ultimately, though, you definitely have to have the post-race inspection. No doubt about that. All right. Let's keep things rolling, and let's do a little Lap Traffic social media. Everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelaptraffic.com. Make sure you check out Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, YouTube, The Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. If you've made it this far to the show, tell your friends to check it out. Give a follow, all that good stuff. Let's see here. I already announced our ticket giveaway winners at the start. Don't forget, I've got another bonus pair to give away. Make sure you're following at Atlanta Racing and at the Throwback Brand. At Atlanta Racing doing some awesome giveaways, which is great, helping grow the channel, which is fantastic. And some new followers. Steven at S. Harris 8891, dirt track racing fan and a Titans fan. Julian Beeston at Pocono Sweet 14, Bowman fan. Anthony Leach at Anthony_Leach_ a Larson fan. And Kyle Larson fan at K Larson fan 5. Welcome to the show, everybody. Go tell your friends, all that good stuff. And don't forget, I've got stickers, koozies, and all of that to give away for free. All you have to do is fill out the contact page on the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, and I will get those out to you for free. Or you can say hi in person if you're going to be at MIS. Hit me up, shoot me a DM, send me a tweet, whatever. Let me know if you're going to be at the race, and we'll make sure we get to say hi to each other. So there is that. Let's keep things rolling. Let's get Mr. Brian Neudorff back on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation joining me on the line. You can follow him on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN, along with Aaron Studwell at Race Weather. No off week and back-to-back weeks. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Brian Neudorff. Sir, how are you?
This is Lap Traffic Nation, right? I mean, normally I'm waiting like a month before I have to come back on. Like, there's like a waiting period. It's funny. I have to get like background checked every time, and I'm not even around your kid. That's even the weirdest thing. So,
Oh, man. I love it. I deserved every bit of that. Well, yes, back-to-back weeks. I don't think you've done that in a minute, so glad to have you back. We've got a little bit more time to play with this week than we did last week, which is awesome because
which means I'm just going to get this means I'm just going to get out as quickly as possible. No, nice talking to you. Bye.
Yeah, see ya. We can talk some of your favorite Indy stories for if you haven't followed. Or
I have some. I think we've. I mean, I've said this a lot, and I will tell one. Do we do it now, or do we want to wait till something else?
I was just gonna say that.
I mean, we could talk about. I'm going to be honest again. I am a horrible human being. We already know this. So this is not anything new. But I did miss most of the race. I again working. My schedule is crazy. So when I was doing the right. Up kind of a thing, I was a tad bit surprised, to find that drivers. And I think we've talked about this before. And maybe people are going to agree with me. Maybe they're not going to. I'd like to see more. Maybe this is the science. Maybe this is the engineering part of me. But I'd really like to see more investing. Remember the old saying, see it on Sunday, drive it on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
It's A, you're not going to be able to. But number two, it's basically the only thing that makes it different is the wrap or the logo on it. Okay. It's the same car for each person. And we're really, we're taking some of the engineering from engines to, it's like, well, it has to be exactly like this. Now try to find a way to get more out of it.
Right.
I'm not saying, I do like to say, if you ain't cheating, you're not trying, but I think there needs to be a little more wiggle room. I mean, you look at F1. I mean, if I understand they wanted it more competitive and or maybe not. Maybe we just not everybody should race. Maybe not everybody can be funded. And we just, in order to put a good product out on the racetrack, it doesn't need to be a huge field.
Yeah, I mean, I would love some tolerances. Whether it's there's a threshold for everything that has a range depending on what it is, or if it's, take from here to give yourself a little extra in another area on the car, something to that effect. I think that would be cool. When I heard about this and when I heard what the issue was, the thing that I hit my mind was Clint Boyer when he got a penalty and pulled out a quarter and talked about that the infraction was, as as thin as what that quarter was is what they found him guilty of. And, I don't remember what it cost him, but I know it cost him something pretty dearly. And it's just like, all right, where could we maybe add some wiggle, like you said, add a little bit more wiggle room, and see what happens. It's crazy. I mean, it's a story, right? Like headlines. We're talking about the sport.
But I also think you got drivers who, while polarizing, they have their fan base. But I think also, let's be honest, NASCAR has been about polarizing. You think of the person that most everybody still loves, at least if they're of a certain age, and that's Earnhardt. He was definitely, and even Gordon, these guys were polarizing. They had a strong fan base who loved, and then they had a strong base that hated them.
Absolutely.
So to try to find NASCAR fans love to love their driver. They also love to hate the rival or love to hate somebody else.
Yep.
And this idea that we're going to try to make, everybody one way or the other just seems, I don't know. It's just not going to work. I don't know. You're not going to be able to fit everything in a nice, nifty little bubble. And I see why fans get upset. Like they feel like they're losing something. They feel like, I can get that completely.
Yep. Well, sir, we are going to Indy this week, your home track. That's where you found your love for motorsports. Are you going to be working? You're going to make?
I'm going to be working. In fact, I'm going to be working the overnight shift. So I'm not just working. I'm working.
Yes.
Yeah. So I may be asleep through as long as it's the afternoons, I'm good. Not like the, Memorial where even then Indy would be tough on my schedule, but yeah, I'll be working.
Okay. All right. What's some of your favorite Indy moments, stories?
Well, my Brickyard. So I got to go the one time, believe it or not, I've only been to the Brickyard once. I want to say it was like 2012, 2013. I can't remember now exactly the date. Johnson won.
Okay.
But I was part of I had got invited to go and be part of the social media garage that they had at the time.
Okay.
And it was me, NASCARgasm, and a bunch of other people who were prominent on social media. So that was really cool for me. And in fact, my work let me go. And I told them I would do some stories, which I did, which I had a really good time doing that. It was hot as whatever. I mean, that was one of my first times back to the state in August where it was hot. Now I'm more adapt to it. But at the time out in Idaho, I swear, I didn't bring home any extra clothes, yet my bag was heavier on the way back than it was. I think it was just on the moisture it absorbed. So it was Friday, and they had this it was more Chevy was sponsoring these things. And so at the time, yeah, because that would make sense. But anyway, some of the guest people that they had, drivers come in, were Johnson, Gordon, and then Stewart. And so we got to ask questions as part of the social media people and everything like that. And to me, I always joke that this is when I truly became NASCAR media. During the Q&A with Tony Stewart, I told him who I was, the NASCAR weatherman, and he called me a jackass. And right then, I had earned my place among NASCAR media, being called a jackass by Tony Stewart.
That's funny. That's crazy.
And actually, he joked. Okay, I mean, and let me give you better context. I did not do anything to offend Tony. I told him I was a meteorologist. It was actually raining and thunderstorm for the Grand Prix type cars that were out there, and they had some cancellations of practice, and so he called me a jackass because of the weather. And I'm used to that. But I thought it was funny, and I took it in jest because he had a smile on his face. I didn't actually it wasn't for those Tony Stewart fans, oh, you probably deserve it. No, it was a little playful, way to go, jackass. Right. That's actually said, way to go, jackass, with the weather. So, so that's probably from a NASCAR standpoint, one of my best stories.
That's great.
And I got to talk to other ones, and I got to have, Jim Noble, I don't know if anybody knows, he used to cover NASCAR. And I mean, this is where I also felt really welcomed by the media was like I said, I had to go shoot some stuff for for work. And I really hadn't done like real media coverage, like carrying and I had my own camera, but I was still walking around with a camera and microphone and all this kind of stuff. And, Jim Noble helped me get things set up and held my microphone for me while they interviewed. And I got some stuff because I had to talk to Greg Biffle, because Greg Biffle had a history of racing out at our track out in Idaho. So I got to, talk to him, and I had to set up some driver interviews and stuff like that. So working it, I mean, it was busy working. And, of course, the other funny story is, so my first time to the Brickyard. So I grew up as an IndyCar guy, going to the Indy 500. All right. This was, obviously this is more likely now 20 years or so, almost either at or almost 20 years since the first Brickyard. But I never gone to the Brickyard. So I didn't know. So I get to the track way early on Sunday, because you get to the track early on Indy Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I was stupidly early. Because I'm like driving up, and I'm like, because I'm staying with my brother-in-law who lives in south side of Indianapolis. So I didn't have to get a hotel, and I'm staying down there, and I'm driving up, and I'm like, well, this is like no traffic getting in the track. And I was like, oh, okay, this is not Indy. So
you're bracing for 300,000 plus.
I'm waiting. I'm trying to get to the track, so I'm prepared to sit in. I'm prepared to sit in traffic for an hour and a half, 2 hours, cruise right in.
That's funny. Yep.
So those are my memories. I mean, I have plenty of IndyCar memories. And the other thing, the one thing I think we really failed to mention, like we always talk about the drivers who, conquered. He doesn't have an 8,500 win. That's Tony Stewart. And I go back to Tony. But I also think we also don't ever include Tony when we talk about those drivers who made the transition from Indy to NASCAR. People like to point out the failures of those drivers who came from Indy to NASCAR and vice versa. But Tony seems to be left out of the conversation. Granted, it was an Indy racing league, but he was a champion of that league, and then went to NASCAR and then was a champion.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, but I always hear you hear these stories about, oh, well, they can't cut it, blah, 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 blah. And they just conveniently, it seems like, leave out Tony. So those are just my little back and forth different things. Because I actually knew Tony Stewart as an Indy driver before I knew him as, the NASCAR driver.
Guy. Yeah, sure. That's crazy. Those are great, man. Thank you for sharing those. That's awesome.
Yeah, the best part is, the best part is being called a jackass by Tony Stewart.
That's great. All right. How are we looking for the truck race Friday night over at Lucas Oil? And
I'd say we got the nice thing is right now it's just soaking wet. Like there's a stalled boundary over the area. Now it's mostly over my area, which I'm in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky. It's going to lift. Another front comes through Thursday with chance of showers. I think Friday looks good. I think Saturday looks good. The only concern, the big question for Sunday, and there's a chance of showers. Now the road course that makes it great because maybe we'll finally get the road course and get to see as long as it's not stupidly soaking wet like we saw at some other places. We definitely don't want that. But if it is wet and stuff like that, then we should at least be able to do certain things. But there's a chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms. It's very low, but there is that chance going into Sunday. But Saturday, Friday is in the morning, but then Saturday looks absolutely perfect compared to where we have been. And Sunday's not all that bad. It's actually just a small chance maybe later in the day because but right now, definitely not your August-like weather in Indianapolis this weekend. We're talking low 80s, less humid.
Awesome.
So we're actually looking some nice weather. Sunday's kind of a question mark because a boundary is going to lift back north and begin to change the pattern again. But the timing of that is going to be the big thing.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, sir, great to have you on back to back.
So I'll see you in November.
We'll see you for the finale over in Phoenix. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Or if I'm lucky, or more likely, I'll see you next season.
Nah, man. So next week will be Aaron. And then actually that'll be leading into MIS, and I'm going to do a show post MIS. And then I'll be taking an off week. So you should be back to normal schedule, and it'll be a minute. So
that's such a funny thing. Normal schedule. When you figure out what that normal schedule is, you let me know, okay?
Do that. I will absolutely do that. Everybody, make sure you follow Brian on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN, along with Studwell at Race Weather. Sir, great to have you on. Great stories, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Great to catch up with Neudorff there for back-to-back weeks. Oh, it is. I'm very excited for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Lap Traffic Nation. It is this week's Lucky Dog and Lap Down picks. You guys know the drill. Send your picks after the race, and I will get them over to you in the show. Tag you, all that good stuff. My Lucky Dog of the race weekend. I mean, how is it not Chase Elliott? I mean, come on. And my Lap Downs are the 11, the 18, and the 4 of Kevin Harvick, because what could have been? Scott at 1985 Wagner's Lucky Dog, his MC driver, always lurking around the top 10 a lot this season. Could you imagine, Scott, if he played spoiler at the Daytona road course, or the Indy road course, or even Daytona? Oh, man. Oh, such a... We're on pins and needles here waiting, which I love. Lap Down, NASCAR and NBC trying to make Turn 3 a problem only this year. I love it. And a late bonus, hashtag all the lap downs at Denny Hamlin, wasting revenge to get the DQ and laps down for Kyle Busch, just DQ. LTFantasy going to be interesting this week. It was. I dropped a lot. I am hanging on. I am, let's see here. Who am I in the standings? I am Chase Briscoe right now, holding on to 16th place, and could very easily get the bump here if I don't have a good week this week. And we'll see what my picks are here in just a little bit. Let's see. Caleb at Caleb Goodman 91. Lucky Dog to Martin Truex Jr. in Bell for not having to go through the more strenuous post-race tech. Lap down to my fantasy team having its best week of the year. Take it away. I feel for you, sir. Charles at PK Let's Go Racing. Lucky Dog NASCAR for starting the race early enough to avoid the rain. Lap down. Denny showing Ross how a veteran passes. Colin at Colin _with_cars. Lucky Dog to all the drivers on the cut line for no new winner this week. Lap down to Ryan Blaney. Bad Pocono weekend, bad SRX weekend. It's just one to forget as a 12 fan. Stop the presses, a bonus pick from Colin. 160 lap downs to Denny, and KFB are DQ'd. The winner is stripped. Holy crap, what a turn of events. If this were WWE, Chase's entrance music would be playing, and he'd come flying down the ramp for a double pin. I love it. Oh, that'd be great. Dave at Real David Kahn, Lucky Dog. Chase Elliott for cheaters getting caught. Lap down. JGR for trying to pull one over on NASCAR. Eddie at Eddie _EG3. Lucky Dog Daniel Suarez, the Sonoma winner, was solid all day, finishing 5th. Lap down Ross Chastain loses the latest battle, this time to Denny Hamlin. Jason at JA Stone 29. Lucky Dog, the fans for a great race. Now it feels like a racing season. A lap down definitely goes to the 1 and 11. And the 4 at the 4 teams' expense. What the F was the 1 and 11 thinking. It was more 1 than 11. Experience matters, and Watermelon Farmer should have known better. I love it. Jeremy at Living Room War Wagon. Lap down goes to Kevin Harvick. Can't catch a break. Lucky Dog goes to McDowell. Dude's been impressive this season. Yes, he has. Matt at Camper News Net. Lucky Dog to Jimmy Johnson for his first career top 5 in the IndyCar Series at Iowa. Love it. Additional Lucky Dog to Denny Hamlin for had become the winningest driver at Pocono. Lap down, turn 3, the trouble spot this weekend for a lot of drivers. Hope Kurt Busch feels better after that hit. Yeah, that was crazy. Mitch at Just Mitch and Lucky Dog. Denny Hamlin came pretty close to running out of gas. Lap down, Harvick, guy needs to retire. Yeah, that Mitch, you sparked a little controversy there with that one, didn't you, man? I was reading the tweets there. That was fun to read. Rowdy at the Rowdy Dragon. Lucky Dog, the whole Gibbs organization has it figured out. all the top 10 finishers. Lap down, turn 3. And last but not least, Scott at WA Big Gamma, Lucky Dog Pocono Raceway. They had a packed crowd. The weather held off for a great race. Lap down, next-gen car. Don't like drivers getting hurt. This car seems to hit harder. Yes, it does. Good call there. All right. Let's close this thing out with a little Lap Traffic Fantasy. Just a reminder, Lap Traffic Fantasy players, get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Check the website if you need to see who you still have available to you. Keep the Twitter interaction up using hashtag LTFantasy. And joining me on the line, not week high, but damn close to week high, and keeping it in the family with 3 weeks in a row now with a James representative family member on the line. It is Kim James, mom of Dave. What's up? How are you?
I am great. How are you, Brandon?
I am awesome. Thanks for so much for calling in. I don't know if you listened a couple weeks ago when David was on, and I had mentioned like there's quite a few like families in the league, which I just absolutely love. We got Mark and Matt Luddington. We got Kristen and her son Carson Hoagland on, and it's a three-way with you guys. You got mom, dad, and son, and I love that it provides some humor between the family and all that kind of stuff. I hope there's some good side bets going on.
There are. It's a little bit of family competition.
Excellent.
We really don't consult. We keep it very close to the chest.
Excellent.
We don't consult each other throughout the week, but once the race starts, it's like, who do you have? Well, who do you have? So then we're going through who our picks are, and then if something happens during the race, of course, there's all kinds of text messages going back and forth.
That's
but yeah, it's a lot of fun. David got me involved, I think, a couple years ago, and then he got his dad involved, and it's fun. It's like I said, it's a fun time. And it's just that little bit of family competition that goes on.
I mean, I just love the fact that I can help provide that. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you guys need to get like a little mini trophy or something now at this point to the winner or something, because that's great. I love it.
Right.
So this week, let's see, you had Byron Gibbs and John Hunter, good for 132. Justin Hughes actually had the week high at 144 with Larson, Gregson, and Nemechek. What'd you think of this weekend? I mean, there's a lot to unwrap with it.
There was a lot that went on in this race. I'm typically not a big fan of Pocono. Didn't love the when they tried to do the double on the weekend type thing, the back-to-back thing last year. But this was an enjoyable race. There was a lot of passing that went on. There was a lot of strategy that took place through this race. Going into this race, it was funny. My husband, who's also in the league, he picked Kurt Busch. He was proud of that pick. It's like, this is just going to be a great race for him. And then before the race starts, I get this message on my phone, and I'm just like, oh, you're not going to believe this when I told him. So, but it worked out, probably better than if he had picked somebody else. Ty Gibbs had a solid race. He didn't do anything stupid out there or anything. But I enjoyed it. I'm not a Toyota fan, so it didn't hurt my feelings when Hamlin and Busch got DQ'd and bumped, Elliott up to the win. But yeah, it was enjoyable. I liked it. Yep.
I love it. I mean, I was having a solid week with John Hunter. I took Sheldon Creed and Xfinity, who did very well, and it looked like I was going to maybe move up in the standings. And good thing I did not try to get the updates done on Sunday after the race, because then I would have had to do double work and redo them. So
right.
Yep. We'll take our medicine and we'll bounce back. So let's hit the standings here real quick. Top 10, segment 2. Robert Riggs is in first with 923. We got Brett Morris in second with 914. Pete Curvin in third, 912. David James is in fourth with 902. Kim, you're in fifth with 887. Jeff's in sixth, 880. I'm in seventh with 877. Josh Rolfe in eighth with 876. Aaron Studwell in ninth. And my uncle, it's also a family affair with Lap Traffic. My uncle's in the league.
Nice.
And he's wrapping out the top 10 with 860 there. So nicely done, everybody there. Let's look over at our bonus points. In first, two-way tie between David James, Kristen Haglund with 14 bonus points. Jason is in second, along with Tony with 11. Henry Fletcher and Mark Luddington are in third with 10. And then the list runs on down from there. Now, to where it counts, the cumulative standings that will set our playoff grid here in just a couple of weeks. In first place still, she's been there for a very long time, is Kristen Haglund. In second is Robert Riggs. Third, Aaron Studwell. Kim, you are in fourth, looking really good with 1995. Justin Hughes in fifth with 1980. We got Steven in sixth, Brett in seventh, Jason in eighth, John Etwinsel all the way in Australia in ninth, Kevin Hahn in 10th, my uncle in 11th, Henry Fletcher in 12th, David James in 13th, Josh Rolfe in 14th, Joel Knoll 15th, and I have fallen to the last place possible at the moment. I am in 16th place, and it's not looking good because 17th is just a few points behind me. So I have to have a solid week this week or I am in trouble. What do you say, Kim? Would you like to make some picks?
Yeah, let's do it. I got to stay solid. I got to keep these picks solid. So yeah.
All right, we are headed to the Brickyard for the Indy Road Course. There was some movement in the Lap Traffic standings, as you just heard, as well as the Cup standings after this weekend, with just 5 races to go in the regular season for both the Cup Series and LTFantasy. Now is the time to make a charge, with 3 of the last 5 races potentially being wild card races. We've got 2 road course races and a super speedway to finish out the regular season. The Dinger is one who will make a part-time Cup appearance this year. He won last year, and with Blaney, Larson, and Elliott right behind him as far as finished last year at the Indy Road Course. Do you have any ringers left this late into the season? Who will kiss some bricks? We'll find out this weekend. Right now, it's time for our picks. Kim, who are you going with for the Truck Series?
For the Truck Series, this was kind of a toss-up. They've not raced at Lucas Oil in a very long time. Yes. From when I was doing my research. So I'm just kind of looking at comparable tracks and everything. Common sense said one thing, but of course, who listens to common sense?
Right.
I'm going to go with Zane Smith this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel good about that. He kept coming up. He wasn't like in some of the things I was looking at. He wasn't like the top, but he was right there. So, and he drives a Ford. So, all things being equal.
All right, I love it.
He's driving a Ford.
Well, I don't know if this is good or bad, but Zane Smith is also my pick for the truck race, Kim. So
okay. See, I'm gonna pull you up out of that 16th spot.
I appreciate you, Kim. I appreciate it. Xfinity Series. Who are you going with?
You have to go with Dinger.
Well,
right?
I agree.
At least I'm going with Dinger, but yeah, he's got to defend.
I wish I could go with Dinger. I've used him twice, so I have maxed out my Dinger picks in the Xfinity Series. So I'm going to go with the next best pick, in my opinion, and that's Justin Allgaier. So I am rolling with the 7 on Saturday afternoon. All right, Kim, over to the Cup Series. What are you going to do?
Okay, so I did have Dinger left, so I could take him in Xfinity. I could use him one more time. In Cup, of the drivers I have left, I really don't have any that I felt comfortable using here. I'm saving 1 or 2, so I'm going to take Dinger again. I'm hoping he can go 2 for 2 this weekend.
I love it. I had Kyle Larson written down. But I'm with you. I'm not like overly confident, and I don't want to waste the pick. So I am actually going to go with Daniel Suarez this week in the Cup Series.
Oh, that's interesting.
We'll see if we can't, maybe make a little noise, pick up a little extra ground there. So, all right. Well, Kim, I mean, we talked to David back-to-back weeks. Who knows? Maybe you will be back here next week.
Could be. We'll see.
All right.
Hopefully.
Well, listen, have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the races this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. You too.
All right,
Bye-bye.
We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that is going to do it for episode 286 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Twitter @LapTrafficPC. Huge thank you to Kim James, Brian Neudorff, and Chase Purdy for calling into the show. We'll see what we can't piece together for next week. It's going into Michigan week, so I think we know who might be on the show. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya.